second here. Can you still see me? My screen is covered.
I can see you, yes.
Yeah, I have a strange pop-up. Hang on just a second here.
I can see you.
Yeah, okay. I'll just keep playing because this is, my screen is
See you
covered.
and I can hear you.
Yeah, all right, I can't see you guys now. I got something on my screen, but I'll keep going. Okay. Going to take 1 minute, sorry, and adjust my microphone. like to do a song that I wrote in answer to all of the anti-Asian occasion, the hatred that's been expressed in so many different ways. And recently now, President Biden and Congress have passed the anti-Asian act. So this is called Here to Stay. Look into my eyes, don't look away. We are on the rise, we are here to stay. Don't tell me to come back where I'm from. Don't tell me I'm not American. We built this land, working with our hands. We stand together as one. Don't call me names or throw me down. Don't think you can knock me to the ground. We'll shine our light, we'll fight for what is right. We stand together as one. We are on the rise, we are here to stay. Thank you. I'd like to close out with one song that was inspired by Maxine Hong Kingston's book, Warrior. And she talks about the women warriors, and especially Fa Mulan, also known as Mulan from the Disney movie. And this woman, who's in my song, is actually an immigrant bride who has come to America, and she's remembering her mother, longing for her mother, and wishing she could be as strong as one of those warriors. Mama, why did I ever leave our home? I thought this dream would bring me love and happiness. In this crowded life, I still feel so alone. When I think of you, I feel such emptiness. You said, sail away across the water. Sail away to a new life. And be a bride, but remember, you are always my daughter. You are always my daughter. Mama, I dreamed I was a warrior, like the women of your stories long ago. Shining on my horse with boundless power, soaring like a bird to bring our people home. You said, sail away across the water. Sail away Go forth and be a bride, but remember, you are always my daughter. You are always my daughter. Thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from all of you now.
Thank you, May. Such an inspiration and such a wonderful start to our event. So welcome and good afternoon to everyone. I'm John Quattrali with Unbound Visual Arts, and we're very pleased to be presenting Self-Preservation, a Unique Human Experience. This is UVA's 7th virtual exhibit over the last 12 months. We plan on continuing virtual exhibits even when we begin presenting physical exhibits, hopefully in the near future. First, let me introduce the exhibit team. And you can see them in their little squares as well. Kyung, Chelsea, Renée, and Sarah. 2 others couldn't be here tonight, Enrica and Cecilia Christman. Cecilia is the curator, and we have a short video from her, and we'll share that in a moment. Kyung Lee is the main designer for the virtual gallery and exhibit, and she'll give everyone a short video tour. In addition to the actual exhibit, we also have an online catalog, a Spotify playlist, and the online UVA art shop includes all of the works that are for sale in the exhibit. Sales can even occur without leaving the gallery. There'll be plenty of time to hear from the artists in this exhibit, and then we'll have a general discussion so that everyone can participate. At the end, we'll have a free raffle in which everyone present will be eligible to win. We'll assign a number to everyone and then pick a random number to choose the winners. So let's start with Cecilia's short video and then Kyung's video tour. Chelsea is going to fire up Cecilia's video right now.
Hi, my name is Cecilia Christman, and I'm the curator of Self-Preservation, a Complex Human Instinct. And I am so pleased to welcome you all to the exhibition reception, and I'm very sorry that I cannot be present. Unfortunately, I have other professional obligations that I cannot get out of, but welcome, and I hope that you all have a wonderful time. I wanted to thank all of the artists who submitted work to the exhibition and who have made this exhibition so wonderful and thoughtful. I really greatly enjoyed looking through all of your art, and it allowed me to think about the subject of the exhibition, self-preservation, in a new light. I actually got the idea for this show when I was an intern at Unbound Visual Arts last fall, and I was just really reflecting on the COVID-19 pandemic and the fundamental changes it is making to society and the way in which it is exacerbating some of the problems that are already present in society, which in this case we identified as the fear of the other. And of course, in the past few months, we've seen that fear only grow worse and deepen. So I think it's a subject that's really worth reflecting on, and I'm just so grateful that you, the artists, were drawn to it and inspired and created such beautiful, meaningful work. I also would like to thank the whole UVA team and all of the interns that worked on designing the exhibition and were so critical in realizing it. Thank you again. I'm sorry that I can't be with you, but I hope you have a wonderful time. Thanks.
So now we'll go to the gallery tour video that Kyung has prepared.
So my name is Kyung, and I am the exhibition designer of this show. So I recently graduated with a master's degree in global arts and culture at Rhode Island School of Design. So this is my time designing virtual exhibitions. So I really enjoy learning it and designing all the graphics and making videos, and also adding figures into the exhibitions. So today I'm going to share 1-minute video tour. It is included a still image of the exhibitions. Actually, I made 2 tour videos, which are 1 minute and 4-minute videos. So you can check out the 4 minutes video on the UVA websites or YouTube channel. So let's watch the 1-minute video tour together. I'm just gonna share my screen. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. That was really great. So now we're going to move on to the artists in the show. And I think there are 5 of them that are here without going in any particular order. Donna, Kat, Nancer, Linda, and Diane. If this one of you want to step up and just introduce yourself, self-introduction. Why don't we start with Nancer?
Okay, sounds good. So are you able to put the artwork up, or am I talking just as a head? Can everybody hear me? Okay, so there's no way to put up the artwork, right, while I'm talking? Okay, so I'll assume I'm just a talking head. All right. If I'd known this, I could have shared my screen. At any rate, the work that I have is called Sybil Speaks, and it's an artist book, and I will hold up what the book looks like. It's a Japanese stab binding, and in it are the ones that you saw on the wall were all the pages put in a Photoshop grid so that you could see all the pages at once. So I'm a book artist as well as a writer and a lawyer who's on the process of retiring from law. But at any rate, so I've done a lot of book artists and shown in a number of different venues and do a lot of different techniques. They all, to some extent, follow a theme or a concept. And I think that's because my work originated from being a writer as well. And so during the and also as a book artist, it's a little hard to do shows sometimes that are remote because you obviously can't turn the pages, which is the whole, you know, an artist book can be a lot of different things, but it's usually a narrative that flows through time. And so things accumulate or things change or you see growth or something through time. And that's the concept of, you know, pages turning or you're moving in some way. So that's a little bit hard to do remotely. So what I did was I did an artist book and then I sort of photographed all the pages, which are what's one of the things on the wall. And the artist book is called Sybil Speaks. And it originated because when I first got the call for self-preservation, I thought, well, you know, I'm not so much into self-preservation. I'm into like being kind to first responders and to appreciating all of the medical people and into trying to keep everybody I know who's vulnerable safe. And partly that's my personality, but that was kind of my mode. But, you know, as the pandemic wore on, I thought and also in concert with the political situation and so many other places in which I felt like there was objectification of human beings and not an appreciation of people's circumstances. I felt I got to a place where I thought, and I was also working on the voter protection in the election. I got to a place where I thought, well, what can't be taken away? No matter what happens, is there something that can't be taken away? And so that concept was one of the things that informed my work on this book. And so I went back to ancient Greece, and the Sibyls were the young women who were in a trance, and they sat outside the oracles. And the one that we know about the most is the Apollo oracle, but actually the practice predates male patriarchal Greece into a matriarchal place. And so in Greece now, and it's pulling from a previous pagan type time, there's a place where they've listed all the kind of slogans for what's good living. And when I was looking at them online, I thought, you know, these are the kinds of things that are still important to me now. So I'll just read them real quickly. And then I went through a long process of trying to order them for sound and trying to figure out what the spreads would look like and how to integrate the imagery and words, which of course doesn't make any sense for me to explain since you're not looking at it. But anyway, these are a few of the things that moved me. And the book is also set up like pockets so that it's hand sewn on the binding, but each page is machine stitched so that it's designed so that if these speak to you, you could put examples of things that happen in your life in each of the pockets. So some of the slogans are follow the good, pursue honor, be overcome by justice, perceive what you have heard, know what you have learned, judge incorruptibly, tell when you know, foresee the future, think like a mortal. And I particularly like that one because I feel like that's sort of an invitation to humility that is incredibly important. And then the center spread is listen to everyone and practice what is kind. And I felt like that's probably the core of what I feel like the world always and forever needs. And then honor providence, live without sorrow, use time sparingly, tire not of learning, know your opportunities, struggle with glory. And I also felt like this was an antidote to people who think they're so great or everything comes out of them. And also it speaks to me because periodically I wrestle with whether I'm good enough or famous enough or win enough things or whatever it is. And so that struggle with glory, I think, is a kind of deep message. And then lastly is oppose not those absent. And so it was both cheering and bracing that a lot of the messages spoke to me today, and they were from 3,000 years ago. And so from that I draw the idea that we're never really finished, we never really make it, but at the same time nothing is ever lost, that these are still things that I can see in my own life and I can see in all the people around me. So that's the end of my little spiel. Thank you. And thanks to all the team and everybody who worked on the show. I really appreciate it. And everybody who came. Okay, so as I described earlier, these are sort of photographs of the spreads of the book. And the upper right-hand corner that you see is a description of who the Sibyls were and what role they played in ancient Greece. So it sort of sets the context for it. Okay, thank you, Chelsea. That gave people a little more of a taste, I believe.
No problem.
Thank you, Nancer. What about Kat going next?
Sure, I'm Kat Masella. Hi, I live on Gloucester, Cape Ann, and we have a great artist community here, and I'm happy to be a new member at the Unbound Visual Arts. It seems like a really fun, exciting, and nice group. And I do know a few that are already in the group, so that's nice. My work in the show, lately I've been focusing on figures, primarily women, for some reason. Women tend to, I feel, take the burden of a lot of things. And so, I wanted to sort of pay homage to women. And, but the recurring themes are, things that get us through anything and adverse times and make us stronger and grow and give us inner strength, but also growing from these experiences. So love, having time to sort of rest and reflect. And, also forward thinking, forging ahead was one of the pieces in there, just sort of seeing how, experiences can change us for the better, and just focusing on the good, every good moment that we have, every chance we have to laugh or bring joy to somebody else that needs a laugh. And so that's what I hope, my intention for the work is to, it makes someone laugh or make someone feel an experience that we all share, and the universal experiences of joy or universal experiences, just, relaxation or rest or things like that, love, things that get us through. That's about it, I think, unless anyone has any questions.
Well, we can go to questions from everybody, but let's hear from all the 5 artists first.
Yep.
Maybe Donna, just give a brief introduction.
Hi, everybody. I'm Donna Castleton. I also live here on Cape Ann in Gloucester. And thank you, Kat, for introducing me to UVA. It seems like a great group. And this is my first exhibition with you all. Thank you for having it. I guess I'll talk about one of the 2 of my paintings that was submitted, was in the show. It was called Pandemic. And I made it right in the midst of when things were really bad. It's probably April, May, when everybody was scared. We had so many unanswered questions about the disease, the COVID. And a friend of mine happened to tell me about her brother, who was an anesthesiologist at a local hospital. And he had been doing so many intubations, and he was just getting stressed out from it. And he described to my friend what it looked like. And he said it was just when he was getting in their webs, a web of tangled mess. And I don't know, that just came out in my painting. It's a drip painting made with latex paint, I think maybe some acrylic. And it ended up, it was inspired by that, what she told me, but also it kind of looks like heartbeats. And anyway, I found it very healing to paint what I was thinking. And I was so lucky to have my art during the pandemic. It was just a great escape for me. I could just go into my studio and forget about everything I saw in the news that morning. And just, it was my relaxation and my savior, I guess. I really needed it. I guess that's about it.
Thank you very much, Donna.
You're welcome.
How about Linda Clave?
Hi. So, can you hear me now? Okay, good. Thank you. My artwork was done as an inner portrait of states of being, and then the movement of one state of being to the next as you unwind. See, self-preservation to me is, especially with COVID and staying home, is you got to take care of your own mental health. And so if you're feeling really like someplace, identify it in your body or in your mind, and then work it into a page, and then work it later and later. And I found that after 3 or 4 drawings, that the energy was more abstract than it was just moving energy. So it started out with something more graphic, and I used 2 brush pens, and I went because they're like the 2 parts of myself, and drew an inner portrait of the face. And then I had a number of faces, but the curator did not show a sequence that I had. So there's no sequence in the choices that she made. So I can't show you that from the work. I don't know if you could pull up the work, but I think from what other people said you can't. But it's an opportunity to use art to unwind yourself and express yourself in a different way than things on the outside, more just like an internal evolution. So that's basically what I did. Thank you. And I live in Brighton, and I've been a member of UVA for quite a while. And I also have done a lot of energy and therapy work, and work with musicians to be a sort of part of the orchestra and a visual part of it, and have my own work simultaneously with them in performances. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And so the last artist in the exhibit is Diane Sheridan. And after Diane talks a little bit, we'll open it up to everybody to have a conversation about the art, about the exhibit, about anything that came up during today or in your just general observations.
Hi, everybody. I'm Diane Sheridan. I'm a member of UVA, and also I'm the clerk or the secretary for the board of directors. Let's see. I took the self-preservation to mean how we stayed sane during the pandemic. That's how I perceived it. And I did a lot of artwork, and that was like someone said earlier, it was a savior. It was, you know, I'm still so happy in a way that I had this opportunity to just, you know, keep creating things. So one thing I was really working on a lot are altered photographs, combining old photographs and new photographs with painting and collage. And so I decided to take a photo of myself, which was really uncomfortable, but I thought because it was self-preservation, I should use myself. So I did, and it was fun. The process was fun, but I'm even uncomfortable now thinking about it, my face. But the only one thing that someone said to me is, oh, you're using the colors because you want to, you know, cover up that you're getting old. And I thought that was really interesting because that never entered my mind. I used the colors in the photos and did the artwork really just to keep going and to stay sane during the pandemic. And I think that's how I always do my artwork, just to keep myself going. So that's about it. And thank you, UVA. It's always really great to hear everyone talking and talking about their artwork especially. Thanks. I was at Rocky Neck the other day.
Thank you, Diane.
Okay.
Appreciate you sharing. We also have, as far as I can tell, several other artists, UVA artists on this call, and maybe they want to talk about their art, what they're up to, anything exciting. I think I know there's a few UVA artists that are on this call. Yes, at least 2 or 3. Does anyone, or anyone have any questions for any of the artists that have introduced themselves, or even for Kyung about the exhibit? Unfortunately, we can't ask the curator any questions, but is there anything anyone wants to share? Just don't be shy.
John, would it be possible? I don't know if I'm coming through.
I think what Diane was asking, Kyung, if is it possible to reshow the video and you actually point out the artwork from the 5 artists that were talking. I think we'll see if they were all in there. I think they were all in there somewhere in that 1-minute video. But if not, we'll deal with that later. Do you want to, can you do that now?
Can you guys see the video?
Yes.
Okay.
That's mine there on the left.
Yes, thank you very much.
Should I keep going or?
See one of the artists will stop.
That's mine. Those two on the middle one is the one I was talking about, pandemic.
And the figures are Linda Clave's. And the black framed face is Diane Sheridan's work. So we get, I think we point to all everybody's, I think. Yeah. Okay, so so now you have a feeling of, now we've shown them in order now. So now we're back to the Q&A.
John, this is Linda. I would like to just comment that she blew my portraits up. They were very small. They were like 9 by 12s. And they were in a sequence in a pad because they were a movement of one state to the next. And so it's very interesting to see them blown up. It's okay to have a different context. I'm just mentioning that they were sketches.
Yeah, in a virtual gallery, you have sort of that luxury to sort of manipulate the images a little bit. Otherwise, they sort of get lost in the gallery a little bit more so than at a real gallery.
Well, it's okay. I'm just needing to clarify it for people who are here.
Yeah. Anyone that goes into the gallery and actually looks at the labels, and they all have drop-down labels. The correct dimensions are on the labels. So that part we didn't change. Okay. But thank you for bringing that up, Linda. Does anyone else have anything they want to share? Otherwise,
John, do you also were there any good news about sales of any artwork?
Not from this exhibit. Oh no! Wait a minute. Yeah. Yes, there was one sale, wasn't there, Susan? Maia's. Yes, it sold in the first day it went up. Yes, yeah, it was. She's not here today, but the artist Maia.
Which one was her piece of artwork? Oh, well.
It was the one in. It looks like orange flames flying up.
It looked like what?
orange flames.
Oh, I'll have to look at the
Yeah,
gallery.
I can't really describe it, but it's we
Okay.
only had one work in the exhibit.
Wonderful. Good luck for her. Thank you.
I'm curious too, how the virtual exhibits have been going for you guys. You said this is the 7th one you did this year?
Yeah, they've we started off very slowly, Kat. I think the first one we actually mounted was during that terrible period that someone was mentioning, May of last year. We had been I was sort of looking around at them even before pandemic. I don't know why I was, but I was sort of investigating them. So it took a little while to get them ready. And the first one we did was actually, we redid a physical exhibit and we turned it into a virtual. And I would say that they've all progressed in terms of their work, in terms of their ability to present the art. And we've been using a couple of different virtual platforms, and this platform seems to be about the best. And it has lots of different gallery options too. And this time, and Kyung, who I don't know if you heard, but she has a master's degree from the Graduate School of Design, and so this is kind of her thing to kind of like make spaces work. But she admitted she'd never done it in the virtual setting, but she stuck with it, and she really, I think, made an impression on the exhibit. I would say we've gotten a lot of good response. A couple of the exhibits have gotten the attention of WBUR's Artery. We've had some really big receptions, programs. The biggest one was on the Asian Identity exhibit that we mounted the end of last summer and went till through September. We've had lots of artists. I think of those 7 exhibits, we've well over 45 different artists have been involved. But I would say we're still anxious to do some physical exhibits. But the thing about the virtuals is that there is an ease to them. Not simple, just an ease about not having to climb any ladders and nail any holes. But I think generally they do work, but it may not be for every situation. I guess that's kind of my thinking on the matter.
It looks beautiful. You did a really beautiful job.
So John, do we have any other opportunities for submissions for new shows?
We are working on a couple of new initiatives. We've got 2. There's 2 in the works, but they may not be. They probably won't be general calls for art. But we do have some. We are planning on. We have at least 3 others that are in the wings. So I would say by the end of June, we should have some ideas of which exhibits are going to go forward. So it takes a little. The thing about the virtuals that they don't take less time. That's probably the lesson that we've learned, is that they take about the same time. They just feel a little easier, even though they're not really a little easier. They take about the same time. Because we like to do our exhibits with a little bit of flair to them, and so I would say maybe by the end of June we may have the calls for art out again.
So John, how late are we going to be with this exhibit? Is it going to go through the summer or through July? Or how long is it going to be up?
We planned it through June 30th.
Really?
Yeah.
A short show.
Well, it actually opened the beginning. It was like the middle of April, so it was like 2.5 months.
Oh, I'm just thinking it from now. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's been up since April 18th or so. I forgot the exact date we got it up.
Most of the publicity is going out now, though, for people to know about the show.
Well, we've had we've had pretty good social media posting throughout the show. Our two main people have been doing that have been Chelsea and Renee. So I know they would say that they've done a lot, and I think they have.
I'm just more aware of it, like on Facebook and places. And I commend your job for doing all this and all the other shows as well.
I'd just like to say how impressed I am with art and how you, as artists, have managed to preserve yourselves through the pandemic, and it's been so hard for all the arts, but to continue to keep creating and having visions has shown your strength, and I wish you continued strength and creativity.
Thank you, May. Do you want to tell people how you've been keeping busy in addition to these little gigs that you've been doing?
Well, I'm a church musician, and I've been able to play for the church by Zoom every Sunday. And we're all getting kind of anxious to meet in person again. But in the meantime, I write songs. I do a lot of improv on the piano, which I really enjoy doing. And this most recent song about Here to Stay came up rather suddenly in the last year because of all the incidents, the anti-Asian terrible violence. And I just wanted to say with that, we're not going anywhere. We're here to stay.
So just one question.
Yeah.
That song is on your YouTube channel?
I could actually put it. I have it on Facebook and on Instagram at the moment.
Well, we will share this program after we edit it, make sure there are less gaps in it. But I mean, our gaps, not your gaps. But so people will be able to have that song again in our recording. But if you want to put it on your YouTube, we can share that link directly.
Sure. Glad to.
It was a really nice song and really moving.
Thank you.
One of the thoughts I had for if you're going to continue to do remote shows is that something that I think works well on Zoom that may even work better than in real life is kind of an integration of music and art. So it's not just music at the beginning and end, but kind of an interleaving. So it might be interesting to have, whether it's May or somebody else, I've obviously seen May before, but to have a couple of pieces posted and then people do art to that. And that during the artist talk, we play the piece that inspired the art, and then that sort of become a kind of a vortex around which the conversation happens. And then the other thing I thought might be helpful for the next time is if the crew or you ask the individual artists to submit a still so that you can create a slideshow. And then, because I know like when you last, I think it was the Wasteland one where you had the slideshow up on up in the auditorium for quite a while at the beginning before the artist talk. And that was that was interesting because you got to see them next to one and juxtaposed next to one another as a series or as an ambiance or an environment. But at the same time, you had some working familiarity of whose was whose when they started talking. And I think that probably, if there was one slideshow that could be manipulated by a crew member, that's probably a little more practical than having each artist share their screen individually. But that would allow us to gear our conversations to something that the audience could then see while we were talking.
Thank you very much, Nancer. Great suggestions.
John, could I jump in for a moment? Brenda here.
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
I just want to congratulate everyone on this show. I think it's so terrific. And May, thank you for starting it up with so much emphasis on combating this renewed Asian animus terrible that's going on. And I was thinking too of the intersectionality for some of our artists, such as Nilu Muchala, who was in the show a couple of times back for the Women's History Month. And she's not only an immigrant from India, she was there until she was through university and then came here, but also she is looking at the pandemic and her family, and now looking at all that is happening directly in India with just terrible events I've had from some of our network partners, like UVA is a member of our UNESCO United Nations Twinning Initiative, and many partners in India are in the network, and they're just writing such dramatically heartbreaking stories about their work in the villages, just trying to keep people alive, getting oxygen to them and so forth. So I want to thank you all for bringing out these Asian American Pacific Islander initiatives and Black Lives Matter initiatives that are part of the mission of Unbound Visual Arts. Today, for example, earlier this afternoon rather, in our community, there was a community-based Asian American Pacific Islander celebration with games for kids and talks too. So I think we're really making a wave. Jeannie Lin had initiated the Asian American part of the, let's say, the BIPOC, the initiatives based on combating, militating for our friends as allies, for our friends of color in the arts and beyond. So despite the pandemic, I think we're making progress, and I would say we're reaching out to different numbers of artists. I haven't seen people from Cape Ann before. Wonderful. I haven't seen folk from Guatemala like Maia, who is participating in this show, as well as the stalwarts like Linda and Nancer, who have been here from the outset. So thank you all again. I'm Brenda, by the way. I'm on the advisory board, and I was one of the founding members of Unbound. And I'm thrilled to see where it's going, and hope John will be sharing a couple of words about the art house.
Not today. Not today.
Not today. Okay.
So if everyone's, if there are no more questions, we'll move right to our raffle because we're right on time. And Sarah's going to run the raffle. I think I explained earlier that it's everyone that's here now was given a number, and she's going to then pick a number randomly using magic, I guess. I forgot how she's doing it, but
So I have a random number generator pulled up here on Google.
Okay.
I just
we
wanna
have
thank you all.
and we have two prizes. So the first one is a gift card to Wegmans. The second one is a gift card to King Arthur Baking Company. So both food oriented.
So John, did people get numbers? I don't have a number.
Well, I have a list here, so I assigned all of you numbers as you entered.
So we don't know the numbers, but you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Sarah's very trustworthy. And
We trust you. It's fine.
Sarah's a senior at Clark University, so that's a very trustworthy university.
Thank you. So for our first prize, the $100 gift card to Wegmans, we have number eight here, which is Kat. Yay. Congratulations, Kat. So Don will contact you via email to figure out how to get that to you. And for the King Arthur flower, we have number 1, Kyung. Yay. So those are 2 winners.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will send them both to you by mail. Oh, actually, I'll have to get your mailing address, Kyung. So somebody don't, we didn't really say it, but she's in California. She's been designing this from California, so that's the other benefit of virtual galleries, and you don't have to have people so close by. It can be further away, but I'm glad that she won. Actually, just yesterday, she was asking whether or not King Arthur had an online store. And so I actually looked it up today and found out that it does. Okay. Well, with that said, I want to thank everyone for coming today and really appreciate your attendance, and tell people that the exhibit is still up until at least June 30th. You know, I don't see us extending it, but there's a possibility, but at least through June 30th. We are going to be moving to a new website, but not till it's ready. But hopefully it's everything we'll have new exhibits to show soon. Thank you very much. And this is more or less the last week for our interns as well, though a couple of them are hanging around to do other things just on the periphery. So I want to thank them especially. It was a great team this spring too. They did a great job.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you all for coming too.
Thank you very much, everybody.
John,
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
John.
Thanks, everyone. Congratulations. Bravo.
Bye.
Thank you.